Welcome back to Trading 360. I'm Nicole Petalides. Time for the big three. Three stocks, three charts, three trades. Ben Lichtenstein will take us through the charts. Here to take us through the trades, Charles Smoot, Senior Market Strategist at Prosper Trading Academy. Good to see you both. Charles, what did you think of the records that we saw? How are you feeling about 2024?
Yeah, not surprising. We saw the uplift going into the end of the year. We've seen the stacking strength on the Qs, breakouts in the 52-week charts on SPY and the QQQ overall and the DIA. You know, it's really up to IWM and the small caps to play catch up here, which they're starting to do. But, you know, I'm a big believer in tech this year. We've seen how tech has helped lift this market. It didn't look good the first week and a half, but we've been roaring back since. And, you know, at this rate, we're basically pricing in the rate cuts that's going to take place at the end of the year right now. So we'll have to wait and see for the rest of the year. But for now, risk on in tech.
Okay. That being said, you have Marvell as your first name.
Yeah. So I believe 2024 is a big year for AI. We've seen a lot of that start to get priced in after Microsoft had announced a $10 billion investment in OpenAI. And, you know, this is really going to be an important quarter for, you know, the growth cycle of AI. And if this is something that the markets could actually start pricing into stocks, MRVL is one of those names that's not talked about, but is, you know, pretty important in relation to the AI industry. This is a name that has been really in a strong uplift since the start of the year. I love the pullback idea to 67, 66. I don't think we're actually going to get it. This is a name that I could see breaking out through the 72.55 52-week high price and really working towards a huge upside target, initially towards 77, but I think that the 93.85 all-time highs is going to be the upside level that traders are going to be watching here if this stock starts to break out.
Okay, so those are some potential good looks there for bull. Tell me more, Ben Lichtenstein.
Oh, this is exactly what the bulls are looking for here, Nicole. Charles mentioned the risk-on tone we've seen in tech. We've definitely seen that in shares of MRVL as well. And Charles, don't be so sure that we won't get that 67, 66 test. I think it was the level you mentioned, because as long as we hold above 64, that bullish pattern we're seeing here on the chart behind me remains. Let's begin with the 30-minute candles, and you can see it is bottom left to top right, exactly what the bulls are looking for. And you can see when we were all the way back around 55, 56, some of the areas of consolidation that have formed at higher and higher levels. So we've got value moving higher, and we are consolidating currently around 70. So this is why I said 64, I think, is the key area. As long as we hold above that right now, even if we were to trade down to 67, it would just kind of be this overlapping, rotational, random type price activity that's occurring. But you can see, again, value moving to the upside. I also wanted to direct your attention to the left side of the screen here, because even within this high conviction move to the upside, you can see this pattern repeat itself. Again, vertical to horizontal, wash, rinse, repeat multiple times over and over again, just solidifying the working assumption here that we are in a, again, bull trend here. That's a 30-minute candle chart. Stepping back to the hourly candles. And this chart goes back to the end of October, beginning of November. Stock was trading around 46. You're going to see a similar pattern playing out here as I map out some of the areas of consolidation that have formed. It looks like 5 of them. And again, currently balancing around 70, holding above 64 is what's key. But you can see this staircase type pattern stacking up, easily identifiable on multiple time frames, 30 to the hourly, taking another step back one more time. I've got a daily candle chart. I wanted to show you the significance associated with this move. Here's the run-up we just looked at from the October lows. But look, it was really getting above 50 the first time that we saw it back in the spring of last year that was key, because as we were trending lower, you were referencing that last area balance, bouncing around 41. We were keeping an eye on 50. You get the break above with the gap higher, the retest thereof, but everything above 50 invalidated trend lower that Marvell had been in. Lastly, I wanted to bring to your attention where we are relative to the 50, the 200-day moving average. Nice little trampoline bounce off of. You can see RSI supportive of this move up. I think Charles is onto something here with this stock and the bullish sentiment, the bullish stance he's taking here.
All right. I mean, people are still thinking tech is somewhat of the ride, the safe, even sometimes the value or the safe haven. We will see. Next up on your list, you have Shop. Tell us about Shopify.
Yeah, so Shop is one of those growth names that it's really been extremely volatile if you look over the last year. Huge rise up, huge pullback, big extension here, leading, at the end of the year, leading into this year. They're stalling out a bit at around $83. This is a pretty critical crossroads because this is, really the point of emphasis that's kind of getting in the way between Shop having an extreme breakout towards at least $99 in the very near term. It's bumping into the 200 simple moving average on the weekly chart. This is a well-defined range because Shopify really started to break down big time when it broke through this level. It was already breaking down prior to, but it really had some nasty selling once it got underneath this level. They're trying to recover above this level. Coming out of technical failure, we could absolutely see a huge risk on move in this name straight up to that $99. Now, the pre-adjusted price, the all-time highs in Shopify at 176s. I don't have any illusions that we're going to go working towards that level, but it certainly is a very strong possibility that we see Shop break through that 83, 84 and just rip it straight to 99. And then we'll see if it really starts to find acceptance into that, triple digit $100 price range. And if it does, the skies start to open up. That's really where we could see these huge profit pockets all the way up to around 150 and then that 176 all-time high price. So this is definitely at that kind of crossroads in the near term, almost a make or break level. If they can't get through 83, I expect a pretty deep pullback, more than 10%. This is something that you're gonna have to be really patient to buy the dip on. Perhaps even, down by that like mid 60 range. But if it does happen to break, this is one that could really stack and run away very quickly like these momentum stocks can.
Yeah, like earlier this year, it had 8 consecutive winning days. I mean, it's up 1 month, 1 year. I mean, depending on whatever you look at. For example, it's up almost 100% in 1 year. But I will say some of the targets are not as high as what you've been looking at. Oppenheimer raised Shopify to $90 from $80 with an outperform rating. I saw that one. Piper Sandler has an underweight of 56. Deutsche Bank 95, so it looks like there's a variety here. Barclays has in the 70s, so it looks like there is a variety. Ben, your thoughts on the Shopify charts, please.
Nicole, I hear Charles using words like rip, acceptance, stacking up, running to describe price activity, and that's exactly what I see playing out here. This is a stock that's been trending higher, much like Marvell, and easily identifiable in terms of what I look for, the 2 phases of price development, which helps us determine which way value is moving, and in this instance, it has been to the upside. Let's begin, first and foremost, 5-minute candle chart. Just a look at the price activity off the lows from last week really speaks to some of the strength we've seen. 76 up to 82, just shy of 83, and acceptance has, Charles just used the word, currently around this $81 level. So no rejection of the run-up that we saw, sideways consolidation, basically horizontal development, random albeit at this point, but supportive of the trend up because we're seeing value move higher from 77.50 now to 81. So let's take a step back away from the 5-minute candle chart, and similar situation playing out here when you look at the hourly candle chart. We see price stacking up right now around the 60-minute consolidation area. Again, 80 in this instance we're looking at. As long as we hold above 75, I think that we're currently in a bull trend. But you can see 4 areas of consolidation after earnings back in the beginning of November, sent the stock from 47. And look at this, high conviction vertical phase, easily identifiable transition into the horizontal, wash, rinse, repeat. You've got a trend to the upside here, Nicole, in shares of SHOP. One more step away from this hourly candle chart shows us a similar pattern playing out. All we're doing is adding time onto this, so going further back, but seeing a similar depiction, right? We've got easily identifiable areas of value moving to the upside. We're talking bottom left to top right, the kind of chart that gets me all fired up when I look at this price activity because it fits right into what we try and establish here. Trend, areas that we can base trade on and reference current and prior areas on. Taking a last look here at Shop relative to the 50, the 200-day moving average. RSI not really providing a lean one way or the other, but across multiple time frames, bottom left to top right, bull trend playing out here. Nicole.
All right, thank you for that. Final thoughts on Shopify, and then get to Snowflake today, Charles, please.
Yeah, I talked about 2024 being a big year for AI stocks. Let's not forget that Shop has integrated AI into their system, so it's going to help. Uh, well, the thought is that it's going to help with their margins and obviously, put them in or back into a growth cycle. It's pretty interesting to hear the analysts, the wide pricing ranges, but ultimately this is a retail darling, and if the momentum kicks in, well, that's where retailers come in, and that's where we could see that explosion. So they may need that catalyst to get above 83, but still holding that uptrend. Really love the opportunity and potential in Shopify.
All right, and then next up, as we talk about Snowflake, this was one that really took off after its IPO. It had the backing of Buffett at that time. Then it faltered. It went down to 128, but has recently hit a high once again. And I even see some 225 targets, 198. I'm seeing a few to 230 from Truist, for example. So some upside potential here.
Yeah, I guess I could kind of be considered this perma but generally I'm a momentum type trader, and this is a momentum stock that certainly kind of fits the profile of what I love to trade. Now, what's really prominent, especially today's move, was that there was a grouping in the last basically month and a half, right around this $200 to $203 price range, or 202 price range. And it's been a core resistance level. Today, they exploded through that level, hit almost at 206s. This is something that we need to watch, because one of the reasons why we've rallied here in recent months is not just because of the semiconductors. That's been a big driving force, quite honestly, since COVID. But prior to COVID, what was a big driver of the bull market, especially in tech, was cloud and cybersecurity. And we're starting to see these cloud and cybersecurity names wake up. And of course, again, the idea of AI is only going to benefit these companies in terms of growth going forward. So we've seen that, super cycle kind of come into the semis. We could see that rotation kind of come back into cloud. We've seen CrowdStrike, Zscaler, and others absolutely exploding here in recent days. I feel that cloud names are next. Names like MongoDB, DDog, Datadog, and of course Snowflake. Snowflake is at this kind of crossroads as well. Now that they've broken through this level, I want to see them find acceptance above 209, and if they do, there's a tremendous amount of upside in the near term to 250. Now, the reason why I call these huge profit pockets is because there's no technical resistance ranges for technical based traders to step in, for technical based buyers to take profits. And again, when a stock like Snow gains momentum, we've seen that they expand the ranges from $5-6 a day to 8 and 12. So they garner some real big momentum. It won't take them long to get to 250 if they truly have that demand, helping that propellant. So we'll have to wait and see. Showcasing a technical breakout here at the 52-week highs. If there's any momentum, we start stacking higher highs, this thing could get going very, very quickly.
Right, you need the volume, the momentum, and to see if you can get that trajectory higher. Ben, your thoughts on the technicals here?
Well, Nicole, I feel like when you're looking for a breakout, as Charles is in this instance, you're looking for strength into the test of that upper extreme, and in this case, that's exactly what we're seeing. Another instance where we're seeing trend up across multiple time frames. When we get into the weekly chart here in a second, the bigger picture, you're going to see the significance with the 209, 210 area that Charles was just referencing. Let's just begin first and foremost, as we did with our other two examples today, a more granular intraday time frame, 15-minute candle chart going back to the lows from last week, 182. A couple well-defined areas of consolidation. Your eyes should be drawn to these horizontal areas where the market's just kind of rotational and not a lot of conviction, versus this high conviction separation phase, the vertical phase, and then the transition from one to the other. And let's just establish on this, again, 15-minute candle chart, two areas, 200 and 187. So we're currently bouncing around 200 as long as we hold above 187. Still bullish pattern, very granular short-term time frame chart here, just looking at the most recent price activity, but trying to establish the fact that we are building some momentum to the upside. So let's take a step back on this candle chart here. We've got 4-hour candles going all the way back to the lows we saw back in October. And you can see what I'm talking about in terms of momentum. In fact, bottom left to top right, easily identifiable here. Let's just show some of the areas of consolidation. Well, areas that my eye was drawn to. Oops, hold on one second. This is the one I was looking for. Currently bouncing around 192. As long as we hold above 165, you can see a couple tests of this lower extreme, which have held here. Key area, again, we'll call it 181.85. You also have a couple upper extremes, which it looks like we're trying to break out of here right now. So again, well-defined consolidation, bull trend with momentum, with energy to the upside, and the bulls are going to be looking for some follow-through. Follow-through comes in the form of a new area of value forming at a higher level, right above this 192. Let's take one more step back, because this is where it gets a little cloudy if you're talking about the bullish narrative here, mainly because you can see the significance associated with these areas of consolidation, this wide range area. We're going all the way back to spring of 2022, Nicole, and you can see that the stock here has been and continues to be after a big move to the downside, which you mentioned as you introed this discussion. Take a look here. You can see that, well, we've been balancing again around this 160 area. This is a weekly candle chart. We're going all the way back here to the fall of 2021, but look at the conviction on the left side of the screen, sideways consolidation. So again, testing this upper extreme, and this is exactly what Charles was talking about. 209, 210, get above this, and as you mentioned, there's some pockets for some upside potential. Lastly, one more chart. Above the 50, above the 200-day moving average, you can see, look at this building momentum, exactly what I was talking about. Last thing the bulls want to see is that new area of value form at a higher level, and RSI participate here. So, but there's energy, the upside here in shares of SNOW, Nicole.
Okay, and you know, to your point, right? I mean, this was a $400 stock at one point. There were a lot of high hopes for this name, but now we'll see if we have the potential for these pockets of momentum and moves to the upside. Thank you both for the big three today, Charles Moon and Ben Lichtenstein. Great to see you both. Thanks.